Quasidb morning bulletin for Monday the 8th of August 2022. On the 10th of August it's going to mark my 12th year of trading, just so you know. And so that time just flew by, and also the weekend flew by as well, funny enough. The SSI value is minus 8.4. So every one person trying to buy, there's 8 people, well over 8 people shorten the market. So DAX, US 30, US 500, UK 100 and France 40, and so by them selling it, price is going to come up to punish them. It's quite simple. And so basically we know that the retail guys are counter trend, so, and they're emotional, and they're going to hold on to their losses as well. And what's going to happen is that this is going to get probably to about minus 15, and it's going to be very crowded, and it's going to be a bear extermination event. So about minus 15, minus 20, and they're going to blow their accounts up. So the trouble is they're reading the news and using logic. It makes perfect sense to sell German stocks because of this Russian pipeline issue, but you know, they have to remember that they've got to look at the sentiment, not just fundamentals. If you look at fundamentals, then you're going to lose money. You've got to look at what the crowd are doing. If they're going one particular way as a herd, the price is going to do the opposite. VIX is crushed. I think we're going to break below 20. I think we're going to, because we're risk on, aren't we? So we'll keep an eye on that VIX. We go below 20, that's going to be a big deal. Aussie is strong buy, and that's a risk on indication. Yeah, the yields rose. Note that the mid-dated rose more than the short and long-dated, so that's creating, like, you know, more of an inversion. So that's quite a bit of an omen, and this is definitely out of bonk. Very much out of whack. The 30 years now above 3%. Maybe if that holds and then the rest gradually decline, it might be okay. That's still very high. These are all incredibly high, but what we want to see is an increment over time, not this curvature. That's not healthy. So this is risk off. However, the VIX is, you know, it's getting crushed. So one of them is lying. It might be that this is taking time to revert back to normal, maybe. And the CPI data on Wednesday. That's really important. So they sold DAX, like I said, and they sold the S&P for various reasons. That could have been Taiwan related. This was the Gazprom related. So as if that Pelosi trip to Taiwan was going to cause like an economic collapse, but they really pushed that narrative, and so the herd believed it. So that's that, and that's the reason for those two to be buy. So this is the dollar. We had a really good positive day on Friday, and the dollar yen, well, you would have seen in the telegram how well the dollar yen went. We had the deviation from the bubbles, and it was a very fantastic result from the bubbles on Friday. It rallied a lot, and the bubbles confirmed it. So had we have caught that, we would have done incredibly well. And this is no doubt going to completely change by Wednesday, and it could be completely, you know, doing the opposite. Right, so you have to be very careful. Had we have not closed the signals on Friday, we would have been undergoing quite a heavy drawdown today because we saw a big reversal on risk. So we just have to know when to exit. And just so you know, the Quasidb system closes the signals at the FX close every day, so that's just probably a good thing, because had we not have done, we would have encountered quite a bit of drawdown. The dollar CAD, for example, was really falling, and so this is going to be changing by tomorrow probably, to be honest. Average bubbles, say yeah, you have to check the intraday trade ideas. If you're a Bulletin sub, I will allow access to this. That's not a problem. I'll do this after the video. You want to check that if you're a paying customer of the Bulletin, you do want to get access to this. So just bear with me, give me a bit of patience, and I'll give you access to that channel, so you can view and read the history as well. So you can like back check the performance of the bubbles, and you can scroll up, and we've had an incredibly high hit rate. This is how we stand. So greens are buy and reds are sells. So we want to see those numbers increase or decrease over time. That's the confirmation. S&P, violent shakeout, very violent. They tried to go long, and they didn't want that to happen, so they went long, but had to get absolutely destroyed. No retail trader yeah, you just wouldn't. No one, you would have got burnt up. Even on a small size, that candle would have probably wrecked you a bit. So see, they went long just prior to that massive puke. So they want, no, we don't want you involved. And of course they went long, and price fell again, and that was just enough to shake them out. Horrible, horrible shakeout. This, they really don't want the retail guys to be buying, and that's a clear indication of that. They really don't want them. They want them out of the casino and to be selling, not to be buying. However, they are going long, so be careful with S&P. If we get across, then it's a sell, right, on this system. US 30, no sign of crossing, but they sold it, so therefore buy. So that's a bit cleaner. And German 30, they've gone long against the 21 moving average. So really, this could come down, but it might be following the US indices, to be honest. So if they go long, we will fall. But it might just be on the tailcoats of the US 30 and US 500 potentially. And gold, this big sell, they went long, and so they got punished really badly. And so we've got a possible buy. If they sell it, we'll come up. So keep an eye on that low. If you're looking at gold, keep an eye on that low. That might hold. If they short it, we'll come up. Today's liquidity target, so everything is aligning apart from the dollar Swiss, which is really interesting. Normally things are out of bonk. Now EU, GU and NU should be falling, but we have to remember we are risk on. We have to go to the risk calc here, and then we know if we're risk on, the dollar's not going to perform particularly well, because it's like considered a safe haven. So if we're risk on, then it's going to impact your forex. So this is indices, right? And of course, so it goes yields, indices, and FX. So this is possibly going to take a back seat to the fundamental flows. So really, EU, GU, and NU should be falling, and AU as well. EJ, GJ, and UJ up. Dollar CAD up. If you look at the dollar CAD chart, we're falling quite heavily and we're below monthly pivot. So I think it's going to be a fundamental day today. Potentially, it's going to ignore the sentiment. So very violent whipsaws going on right now. So remember to look at the big picture and that we're risk on. Okay, remember to look at the VIX as well. The SLC on AU, the Aussie USD, is higher up and the size is larger. So I don't know, because we're risk on, that might be safe, because we should be going up on AU if we're risk on. So it might be safe, that stop loss cluster. And even though we say sell here, we're being driven up by fundamental flows. So it could be a little bit of a payday for the retail guys up to Wednesday, potentially, because you've got CPI on Wednesday and it might just like really puke. So after the 1st of September, your pro code for FX SSI is going to revert to $31 a month. If you get it now, the Quasidb code, you get it for $10. So lock it in on an annual plan, then you make a huge saving. If you don't, then you'll be spending $31 a month. So I know what I'd rather do. I'd rather get it at that price, obviously. The retail guys are getting really squished, and Aussie's got a perfect score, but Kiwi isn't so good, just so you know. And yeah, it's interesting. I would have thought the dollar would have been a bit worse. I wonder how we're looking now. In fact, I have to open the browser. Yeah, I think that's probably it should be a bit lower. I think, because if you look at EU, GU, AU, and NU, it's been a bit naughty. So keep an eye on that. It might be a bit of fluctuation on the failure rate. And so that would be normal, 70-80%, so that's fairly normal. They're getting destroyed, but I think they're getting paid on some dollar pairs, which is interesting. So I have to wait and see how that develops. That might be going a bit lower. So we had a pretty rubbish day on Friday with a 73 pip loss. Our worst trade was dollar CAD with a 35 pip loss, and GU was a 29 pip loss. We had a huge beat on the NFP, and of course it shook up the Forex market, and I think it was such a huge surprise. It really took people, by surprise, and as a result it was quite a bit of a payday for the retail guys. on all the signals. And I did say we've got to be careful on NFP Friday anyway, so ideally we probably deactivate them for next Friday, for next NFP. I'm just thinking about CPI on Wednesday. Maybe we should deactivate them for that. I'll think about that. And so this is tied up a little bit now. It's a bit easier to read. So with strong sell, EU, GU, and strong buy, dollar yen, neutral, neutral, neutral. Strong buy, dollar CAD, which is interesting because it did look like it was falling when I looked at it last. And the Kiwi USD is strong sell technically. Okay. And quiet calendar, so that's great. And we've got the CPI to focus on Wednesday. Whether or not I'm going to deactivate the signals for Wednesday, I'm not sure. It might be sensible because we might have a similar thing where they get paid a bit, and then it's obviously going to impact our total. So I'll grant you access to the channel here. If you're a Bulletin subscriber, I'll do that now. And have a great day. So we'll just see how we go. Remember, we've got our trade set up from the bubbles, and it's going quite well, quite a lot. So maybe wake up a little bit earlier, and you can catch, catch that trade. So have a great day, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.